Good morning. I would like to share our experience with the implementation of the voluntary guidelines in Latin America and the Caribbean, using Guatemala as an example. Guatemala is a country that shows the greatest progress in the implementation of the guidelines. The program there began in 2012 with the newly approved guidelines and answered by an explicit request to FAO from the government of Guatemala. In September 2012, Javier Molina and I visited the country and spoke with the main stakeholders, and the implementation since then left us with several lessons which I would like to share with you. The first lesson is that the government support is essential to the process of implementation of the guidelines. Since in Guatemala we were formally invited, we had good conditions to go ahead with the work. A second lesson is the priority given to the voluntary guidelines by the local FAO colleagues, and it's also very important. The personal priority given by Diego Recalde, Minor Estrada, and Clement Gamboa in Guatemala has been key for the success of the program. A third lesson is the need to properly explain the guidelines. The text is highly complex and must be clarified, spelled out, especially in terms of its context. It is very important to consider actual land grab process and the new economic, social, and political context. Without considering this whole situation, the voluntary guidelines doesn't make sense. They are not self-explanatory, and some training in this direction is needed to assure the impact and socialization. Another important lesson to be considered is to consider all stakeholders. It is necessary to reach the civil society, leaders of peasants communities, and the academia to create commitment and guarantee their participation. In Guatemala, at the beginning, we had no support from the private sector, since our relation was with the traditional business groups. This was a mistake. When we developed links with entrepreneurs and company links to the Global Compact of the UN, there we got a very good improvement. Those are some of the lessons that we learned from our experience. But I would like to point out that our main task has been the collaboration in the redefinition of the law of rural development. Secretary of Agricultural Affairs took up the work of reformulation of the agricultural policy, and on behalf of the government of Guatemala, formally request to the FAO representation technical cooperation to guide the reformulation of the agricultural policy based on the principles and the content of the document of the voluntary guidelines. This process has fully been achieved. We are now working in local workshops in order to explore with new methodologies the implementation of the voluntary guidelines, and in the program to advise the government in a focused project with the 50 poorest rural town councils in the country. Thank you very much for your attention.